Did he do it, right? I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that 50 shit. Like all of the stuff that he's...
The courtroom was already tense, but nobody expected what came next. Cameras flashing, whispers bouncing off the walls, and suddenly the entire vibe flipped when 50 Cent finally broke his silence. After days of rumors swirling online, court leaks spreading like wildfire, and insiders hinting that something big was coming, Fifth stepped out and dropped allegations that sent shockwaves straight through the industry. This wasn't some casual Instagram joke or slick caption either. This was calculated, direct, and loaded with pressure. According to people close to the situation, 50 felt the courtroom chaos was the final straw, especially after testimonies and sealed documents allegedly painted a darker picture of Diddy's inner circle. The timing alone raised eyebrows because it came right after emotional moments in court that left even seasoned reporters stunned. Folks in the hallway said the energy felt heavy, like everyone knew something ugly was crawling into the light. What really set things off was how 50 framed his claims. He didn't just throw random shots. He spoke like someone who's been watching from the sidelines for years, keeping receipts. He pointed to alleged freak-off parties that insiders have whispered about for decades, events described as invite-only, tightly controlled, and surrounded by strict silence rules.
Sean Diddy Combs and 50 Cent. These two go back a long time. They have been rivals for a long time. And this week we learned that, at least from Diddy's side of things, this feud apparently went far beyond words. 50 Cent's name came up during the testimony this week of Capricorn Clark. She is a former assistant of Sean Combs who went on to become the head of marketing for his Sean John clothing brand. Clark rose successfully and professionally through the ranks of Diddy's world during her time working for him, which stretched between 2004 to 2018, so she saw a lot. Clark claimed that Diddy would threaten her, and she says he even kidnapped her in 2011. All of this matters as we build up to how 50 Cent kind of factors into what she said on the stand. Now, Capricorn Clark started working for Bad Boy after she worked for Death Row Records. Now that's surprising, since Death Row was ran by perhaps Diddy's most hated enemy, Suge Knight. Clark said that one of her good friends had a baby with Suge Knight, and that's how she knew him. And in perhaps the most shocking story from her testimony, Clark claimed that shortly after she started working for Diddy, Diddy and his security guards took her to Central Park after dark, and Diddy said, quote, "He told me he didn't know that I had anything to do with Suge Knight, and if anything happened, he would have to kill me." It is an allegation that paints Combs as someone who is ready to take a life. But as Capricorn Clark's testimony continued, she brought up another rival of Sean Diddy Combs and another allegation that he made an ominous threat of violence. Clark testified, when working for Diddy, they went to a press event at MTV and 50 Cent was there. And just wait until you hear what she says Diddy told 50's manager. 50 Cent's real name is Curtis Jackson. He rose to fame in the early 2000s. You might remember songs like In the Club. You might remember that he was the leader of the rap group G-Unit. Now, 50 grew up in Jamaica, Queens, New York. Diddy, also a New York native. He was born in Harlem, grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, just about 20 miles away. And even though they both had success in music, they both rose to fame representing the city of New York and the rap scene there, they have been longtime rivals. In 2006, 50 Cent released a diss track about Diddy. So almost 20 years ago, this goes back a long way. And in that diss track, he says, quote, "Who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get 'em. They gon' kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that expletive. Man, that expletive soft." Now 50 is accusing Combs there of knowing who killed his friend, the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. Wallace and Puffy were incredibly close, but Wallace was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles in 1997, and no one has ever been charged for pulling the trigger. This all happened during really the height of the East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry of the 90s, which involved Suge Knight, who we mentioned earlier. 50 Cent has also accused Diddy of orchestrating the murder of death row rapper Tupac Shakur, who died in 1996 in a Las Vegas drive-by shooting. This is Dwayne Keith D. Davis. He was arrested in September 2023, and he is the only person facing charges related to Tupac's murder. But 50 Cent has continued to push the allegation that Sean Combs either knows something or did something for Tupac to end up dead, though Diddy has denied that. But in a 2023 Instagram post, 50 wrote, "Damn, so Pac got lined by brother love, LOL, time to lawyer up, expletive, Mike."
According to 50, these gatherings weren't just wild celebrity fun, but spaces where power dynamics blurred lines and left some people feeling trapped and pressured. He didn't name every detail, but he made it clear that the culture around these parties allegedly thrived on fear, influence, and people being scared to speak up. And when he said people been knowing, that line hit different because heads started nodding instead of shaking. Then came the part that had social media exploding within minutes. 50 suggested that Diddy's real strength wasn't just fame or money, but an alleged hidden network of powerful friends, fixers, and industry players who helped keep uncomfortable stories buried. He hinted that careers were made or broken depending on loyalty, and that silence was rewarded while questions came with consequences. People in the room reportedly froze when he said some artists lost deals overnight after refusing certain invitations, while others suddenly skyrocketed without explanation. He didn't say it was proof, but he kept repeating the word patterns, making it sound less like coincidence and more like a system. The abuse allegations were handled carefully, but the weight behind them was heavy. 50 emphasized that these were claims being discussed in legal spaces, not gossip blogs, and that the trauma some individuals describe shouldn't be dismissed just because of celebrity status. He stressed that when money and power mix with fear, people stay quiet for survival, not because nothing happened. That line alone had reporters scrambling because it flipped the usual narrative that silence means innocence. Instead, he framed silence as something forced, something maintained through pressure and industry politics.
It's sticky with a pic of Suge Knight in a car with Tupac. Diddy, who has a lot of names, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Puff, and Brother Love is one of those other names. Now, from Diddy's side of things, again, he's denied having anything to do with Tupac's murder, and he's also denied having anything to do with Christopher Wallace's death, and he's denied publicly having issues with 50 Cent. Here's what Combs said when he was asked about a beef with 50 in a 2018 interview with the radio show The Breakfast Club, Power 105.1 FM.
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with I
don't know why.
With Fifth. He loves me. He loves me.
Do y'all really
can't
have
see
a
it?
beef?
I mean, y'all can't see it.
No, we can't see
Y'all
it,
can't
man.
see that he loves me?
But see,
you really think that's hate?
If you look at 50's social media, you can see he has a lot of posts about Diddy. And this is what he posted the day that federal agents in Miami raided Combs' mansion ahead of his arrest on the charges that he's now on trial for. 50 Cent posted on X, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case." 50 Cent also included a link to his G-Unit clothing brand in that post. While Diddy in the Breakfast Club clip said that 50 Cent actually loves him and there was never a beef, on the stand this week, Capricorn Clark said otherwise. Clark said that she was at this press event at MTV with Diddy and 50 Cent was also there, all of this happening in New York. Clark said, quote, "After the interview wrapped up, myself, Puff, and Chris Lighty got in the elevator." Clark said that Lighty was an entertainment manager who, on paper, was managing Diddy at the time, but was also 50 Cent's manager at the time. Prosecutors asked Clark what happened in the elevator, and she said, quote, "Puff told Chris, because they were having some sort of issue, like, I really don't like all the back and forth. I don't do that. I like guns." The prosecutor then asked, "What's the issue with an individual?" And Clark responded, he had an issue with 50 Cent. She said Combs was very serious when he said that. In this case, it has become common to hear testimony from witnesses about alleged threats by Diddy. In fact, several witnesses have said that Diddy regularly threatened to fire people, to beat people, like his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, and in this case, making a threat involving firearms to settle a dispute per the testimony of someone who was one of his closest associates for more than a decade. Invoking gun violence and some sort of veiled threat, that could be scary for some, but apparently not 50 Cent. On Instagram, 50 posted right after his name came up in the courtroom, quote, "Cut, Cut, wait a minute, Puffy's got a gun? I can't believe this. I don't feel safe, with a picture that looked like an AI image of 50 Cent on a movie set looking serious. And he wasn't done. Shortly after that, he posted another AI image on Instagram of him in a Yankees hat with a very scared look on his face with the caption, "Oh my goodness, itty bitty Diddy wants me dead. I have to lay low." Sad face emoji. "I think I'm gonna hide out at the playoff game tonight, LOL. Then the next day he posted what he did that night. He went to the NBA playoff game between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers in Indiana. And you can see him here in a picture on the floor in a shirt that reads, quote, "Free Diddy," playing into the trolling that 50 Cent has done to Sean Combs over the years, even before Combs was ever accused of what he is on trial for. Now, Combs' trial is expected to last another month at least. He's charged with racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pleaded not guilty. Join us now to talk more about the trial of Sean Diddy Combs and everything that's going on inside the courtroom is Afi Patterson, civil and criminal defense attorney. Thanks for taking the time.
What really shocked longtime observers was how calm 50 stayed throughout all of it. No shouting, no jokes, no smirks, just steady delivery, like he knew exactly how much each word weighed. He even hinted that more people were ready to talk, but were waiting to see how the courts handled the current chaos. According to him, the courtroom drama wasn't just about one case. It was a crack in a wall that's been standing for decades. He made it sound like once that wall breaks, names, dates, and details will follow fast. Outside the courthouse, reactions were split. Some called 50 brave for saying what others wouldn't. Others accused him of stirring trouble at the worst possible time. But even critics admitted one thing: the allegations lined up too closely with past rumors to ignore. Old interviews resurfaced, strange industry moments were re-examined, and clips people once laughed off suddenly looked uncomfortable. The silence from certain celebrities spoke louder than any denial. By the time the day ended, Hollywood didn't feel shiny anymore. It felt nervous. Executives went quiet, insiders stopped texting, and PR teams worked overtime. Whether everything 50 said holds up in court or not, one thing became clear. The conversation has shifted, and the spotlight is no longer just on Diddy, but on an entire system that allegedly protected powerful people for far too long. As the fallout spread, insiders started moving different, and that's when things got even louder. Industry phones lit up, private group chats went silent, and people who usually talk suddenly had nothing to say. According to sources close to the case, some executives were scrambling behind closed doors trying to figure out who might get pulled into the mess next.
Friend, after Rodney Lil Jones Jr. filed his federal lawsuit against Diddy earlier this year, in which he referenced Diddy's infamous parties as seemingly the scene of a number of the allegations he now faces, including sex trafficking, forced drugging, and compromising footage of celebrities that have been held as blackmail. Stevie J seemingly responded with a post to Instagram with the caption, "This is what a real Diddy party looks like." The video showed a number of famous faces, including Jay-Z and Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, her then husband Kanye West, Naomi Campbell, and several others who were all together to celebrate Diddy's 50th birthday in 2019. Fast forward to 2024, 50 was asked why there have been so many silent voices when it comes to celebs speaking out about Diddy, as if they're afraid to speak up. 50 replied in part, "Some of them were involved at the parties and enjoyed themselves, so they don't know what the F is on the tape or what's not on the tape. So they're not going to say anything because they might have had too much fun." And then you've got other people who look at it and go, "Well, that's not my business and I don't want to be in it." Then you got a part of our culture that says that's snitching or dry snitching. It's uncomfortable for me to say what I said because I've been saying this stuff for 4 or 5 years. Everybody else is not going to be as comfortable as I'm saying it. 50 Cent then alleged there's one famous friend that is aware of Diddy's alleged disturbing behavior. R&B legend Mary J. Blige, who got her start at Diddy's Bad Boy Records, has been a longtime friend of the embattled rapper and producer, but she reportedly has a great relationship with 50 Cent as well. When asked if Mary J. Blige reached out to 50, he responded, no, you know what? Mary never reached out to tell me not to F up Puffy because she knows he does that stuff. As Diddy and 50 Cent have long been in the rap game, they share another commonality, and that's 50 Cent's ex-girlfriend and the mother of his youngest son, Daphne Joy Navarez. The actress and OnlyFans model was named in Rodney Jones' suit against Diddy, as she was referenced to as an alleged sex worker of Diddy's that also gets paid a monthly stipend. She has denied those allegations in a post made to social media, writing, "I am deeply hurt by the lies in Rodney Jones' lawsuit. The claim that I'm a sex worker is 100% false and character assassination. I am retaining an attorney to explore all legal remedies against both Rodney and his attorney." 50 Cent seemingly poked fun at the allegation of the mother of his son being an alleged sex worker. In a post made to his social media page, 50 wrote a caption, "I didn't know you was a sex worker, you little sex worker, LOL." But this would prompt Daphne Joy to respond to her ex again on social media, but this time would accuse 50 directly of rape and being abusive during their relationship. She would write in part, "Everything is a joke to you until our safety is compromised, which is happening now. You are wreaking real havoc, frenzy, and chaos onto people's lives. How would you feel if Sire was the one in handcuffs? For nothing. Let's put the real focus on your true evil actions of raping me and physically abusing me. You are no longer my oppressor, and my God will handle you from this point on. You have permanently damaged the last hope I had for you as a father to preserve our family with these last and final false claims made against me. You have broken our hearts for the last and final time." Those allegations against 50 Cent would prompt him to fire back against his ex Daphne Joy and sue her for defamation. In his suit, 50 Cent said those allegations were unequivocally false and would claim she made the shocking allegations in retaliation after he moved to take sole custody of their son. Since that suit, Daphne has deleted her Instagram post accusing 50 of rape and physical abuse. 50 Cent was asked by The Hollywood Reporter the latest in the defamation suit. The rapper and television producer said he tiptoes around the Daphne stuff and explained,
50 didn't even need to name names anymore because the reaction said everything. When powerful people stop defending and start disappearing, that's when fear kicks in. And the wild part, the courtroom chaos wasn't even over yet. 50 doubled down by pointing out how long these stories have floated around without consequences. He reminded everyone that whispers about certain parties, private rooms, and uncomfortable power plays didn't start this year or even last decade. They've been floating since the early days of the industry's biggest rise. According to him, the difference now is timing. Courts are listening, public patience is gone, and the old tricks don't work like they used to. He stressed that people who once laughed things off are now watching every word they say because screenshots last forever. Then came the part that shook a lot of former collaborators. 50 suggested that some artists weren't just victims or bystanders, but participants who stayed quiet because the benefits were too good to lose. That statement stirred up debate fast. He wasn't saying everyone knew everything, but he was clear that some folks ignored red flags on purpose. He described a culture where looking away was easier than standing up, especially when careers, money, and access were on the line.
5 counts, according to NBC News reporters present when the New York jury announced its determination July 2nd. Combs, who pleaded not guilty to all charges, was convicted of prostitution-related offenses, but acquitted of the sex trafficking and racketeering charges in his case. After his verdict was announced, stars who have been connected to Combs over the years spoke out on social media, with fellow rapper 50 Cent posting a photo of himself smiling and mocking Combs' good fortune. He wrote alongside the pic, "Diddy beat the feds, that boy a bad man, beat the Rico," before comparing him to late mobster John Gotti. Aubrey O'Day, Combs' former protege and member of Danity Kane, also shared her candid reaction to his fate. She said while filming CNN's live coverage of the verdict on her Instagram stories,
"Oh my God. The jury did not guilty on Cassie, not guilty on Rico. No way that Jane is going to be guilty. Oh, this makes me physically ill. Cassie probably feels so horrible.
Involved in that. It could still be that the jury finds,
Bonnie,
yes, a person
I'm gonna vomit.
was moved across the...
Ahead of the verdict, Aubrey spoke to E! News about what justice would look like for her in relation to the case.
Justice for me in this setting, I would like to see all of the crimes that I know are true for him to serve time for all of those, personally. Professionally, I would like the prosecution to have done such an incredible job that nobody had any questions right now, and a lot of people have questions. At this point, if I'm going to blend those two worlds together, I would like to see a world in which they really connected the dots. I'd like to see them really bring home the charges that they indicted him for, because it's a dangerous game to play at a federal level against a billionaire mogul. There's cause for concern when you watch the trial, the very first part of it all play out, and there's still questions for people. I don't have any questions, but the prosecution needs to have done a good enough job to make sure that the jury doesn't.
Also speaking out was an attorney for Cassie Ventura, who dated Combs on and off from 2007 until 2018, and testified during the trial about the alleged abuse she was subject to during their relationship. Her lawyer said in a statement to E! News, "This entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of sex trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution." Her attorney added, "We must repeat with no reservation."
That hit hard because it shifted responsibility without accusing blindly. The courtroom drama itself kept feeding the fire. Emotional testimonies, tense exchanges, and moments where lawyers looked visibly shaken added weight to what 50 was saying outside. People watching online started connecting dots in real time. Old lyrics, old interviews, and old footage suddenly sounded different. Stuff that once passed as edgy now felt uncomfortable. The internet doesn't forget, and this time it wasn't letting jokes slide. 50 also addressed the backlash head on. He acknowledged that people were accusing him of chasing attention, but he flipped that narrative quick. He said staying quiet for years wasn't weakness, it was strategy. According to him, speaking too early gets you buried, but speaking at the right moment gets people listening. And with court documents piling up and pressure mounting, he made it clear that this moment wasn't accidental. What really pushed things over the edge was his warning. He hinted that what's public right now is only a fraction of what exists behind the scenes. He said documents, messages, and personal accounts are sitting with lawyers, not bloggers. That line alone sent chills through Hollywood. Because once legal teams get involved, stories don't disappear, they get structured. And when structure meets truth, things move fast. By nightfall, the industry felt split in two. Those who stayed silent looked nervous, and those who spoke carefully chose every word. Brands started distancing, appearances got canceled, and schedules shifted quietly. Nobody wanted to be caught standing too close when the next headline dropped. Whether people believe every claim or not, the fear was real. 50 didn't celebrate, didn't gloat, didn't smile. He let the weight of his words do the damage. And as cameras shut off and the courthouse lights dimmed, one thing became impossible to ignore. This wasn't just about one man anymore. It was about power, silence, and an industry finally being forced to look at itself.